Good morning, South Beach. Good morning, South Beach. Here we are, episode 13 with my partner Tom and UFC fighter Phil Haas. I'm very excited to have Phil here. He's going to be the future world champion. Remember I said that, but I'm sure everybody that knows him says the same thing. You see him train, you see him fight, you know he's got the goods. That being said, don't forget to follow us. You got to follow us on my Instagram page, Dino Fifth Street Gym Instagram, and the YouTube Fifth Street Gym. You gotta follow all those. Send us messages. Don't forget you can come train with us. We do classes and private lessons. This is a full-on working gym. You can see Phil and I are sweaty because we just trained.
Yeah.
He did the training, I did the coaching. So it's a real gym. We'd love to have you. More the merrier. You know, it's funny. I've had celebrities come and say, they call me up and they have their manager. We have an undisclosed celebrity would like to train at the gym. Can you close it from this hour to that hour? I say, absolutely not. We didn't close the gym when Muhammad Ali was here. The fans came in, people watched him. Even local people used to get in the ring and move around with him.
That's really
he would love it. The former mayor of Miami Beach, before he was the mayor, would get in and move around with Muhammad. Couldn't hold his jockstrap, but Muhammad would play with him and have a good time with him and break a sweat. And so again, we didn't close the gym for him, and we didn't close. Phil came, worked out while everybody was working out. So many celebrities do it all the time. But how did you wind up finding us?
Wait, forgot. We've got to talk about Italy.
Oh, yeah.
I want to hear about Italy.
He was in Italy just now. He
Yeah.
just came back. So before we get going, I want to hear, Italy's huge. I should say they love boxing over there. So, tell us about before we get to them, I want to know what happened, boxing, Danny, the fight. There's a couple good Italian boxers out there, so talk about that.
As you may or may not know, I trained Daniele Scardina, who's the IBF international champion, just won a European title, so on and so forth, up-and-coming fighter, top 10 in the world, super middleweight, and he is growing his brand every day, in Italy in particular. He was on Dancing with the Stars mid-pandemic, so everyone was home watching TV. Yeah. He got his following was, he's a 20-something-year-old kid covered in tattoos, and his following was a very young following. Boxing fans followed him, and now grandmas follow him. We're home watching. He came in second, so he did really well. A lot better than a lot of the American boxers ever done on the American version. Yeah. So he got a little salsa in him. He speaks Spanish. He gets around. Yeah. So he did it. So he really grew that, and in turn, he kind of made me famous. As I go through Italy, people come to me all the time. And they're like, Dino, and they try to speak Italian to me, and I really don't. I have to tell them slow down because I only understand a little bit. But they're so warm. I have family there that treats me like they treat me better than a celebrity. And but I actually scheduled. I take jiu-jitsu as a student, and I scheduled a private lesson with a coach. And I couldn't get to the gym, and I apologized and had to cancel. He's like, no, I'll pick you up. So he came pick me up. As he got out of the car, he was walking the car. He goes, Dino, Fifth Street Gym. I was like, oh yeah. He's like, oh my God, you trained Daniele Scardina. He's a fight fan. He's a fight coach, blah, blah, blah. So it's a small world, the fight world. He trained me for free. He refused to take any money for private lessons. He's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. I had a great time. It's called Cicero BJJ in Palermo. And they were very kind to me and
it's
took
weird,
a lot of time with me.
BJJ place in Palermo, Sicily.
Absolutely.
That's wild.
I had a blast. The food was unbelievable. That being said, I know fighters, a big part of their job is diet, making weight. Yeah. So very interesting. I ate pizza and pasta every day.
I like that diet. I like it.
Pizza and pasta every day. I lost 2 pounds in 3 weeks.
Yeah, but you're probably walking. This guy walks.
Yeah, I know you think that. I tried to walk 20,000 steps a day was my goal. But it turned out that our Airbnb that they also let us stay in for free for me to post about was on the square where the restaurant and the boats and everything was right there. So I went to walking 5,000 steps a day. When I'm home, I walk 10,000 steps a day. So if the food is clean, there's something really to clean food. Yeah. I was eating olive oil. I was eating pasta, cheese. I had a guy in Body make cheese for me. Cheese Inside is his Instagram. He made cheese live. He made it and handed me, and I ate it. It was clean. I didn't make weight. So I think if fighters, it's hard in America. I think if fighters can have a little more leeway where their diet doesn't have to be a dried chicken breast and vegetables, if their food is high quality and clean.
Like organic.
Exactly.
Like organic.
I think they can stay away. I think the chemicals hurt them more than anything else.
And a real quick story, guys, about him walking. He was in New York one time. He walked so much
that my stepson walked holes in his shoes.
No.
He walked 63 miles in 4 days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, sightseeing New York. The goal was to
had a hole in it.
to not take any transportation. So we walked to Brooklyn from Manhattan. We walked back. We walked downtown. We walked uptown. And we got, I had to buy the kid a pair of shoes.
That's child abuse, man.
That's child abuse. Yeah, he's a teenager, so take it easy. Nevertheless, he got a free pair of shoes out of it. So
that's pretty sweet.
Now, there's also
my phone monitored 63 miles in 4 days.
That's wild. That's impressive, man.
And there's an Italian guy. Isn't there some kind of killer heavyweight that's out there you were telling me about, too?
Guido Vanello.
Guido, he's Italian, isn't he? Or is he Chinese?
Guido. Yeah. And Guido and I are friendly, and I would love to work with him. We've never been in the same city at the same time, and he was messaging me, "Hey, coach, I see you're in Rome. I'm on my way." I was like, now I'm in Naples. Yeah. The next day, I'm in Capri. I was there yesterday. Now I'm in Sicily. And we just missed each other. This guy has got potential. This guy's the real deal. He's big, strong, handsome, and diligent, and works hard. I mean, he was trying to work out. He's on vacation. He's trying to see if he hit pads on his vacation. Yeah. So this guy is, he's really dedicated guy.
Yeah. And there's another guy who's like 40-0, never had a title shot though. I forgot his name.
His name is.
Let him check.
Oh, it slips my mind. The guy's 40-0.
Emiliano Massili.
One more time. Emiliano Fasili. He's 40-0 and never had a title shot.
How is that possible?
Bad management.
Jeez.
Management, matchmaking, training, promoting are all equal parts of someone becoming champion. And it's the fighter in the end getting up off the stool.
Yeah.
And everybody's riding him to the finish line. Yeah. And I know that. And I'm not confused on that. And no coaches should be. The world famous Fifth Street Gym is world famous because of Muhammad Ali, not for any other reason.
Yeah.
Because of the greatest heavyweight of all time.
Yeah.
That being said, Angelo had to provide an environment for him to be comfortable and be himself.
Yeah.
And allow him to excel. The matchmaker gave him the right fights at the right time to be who he became. I mean, in order for him to shock the world, he had to fight that big old bear that everyone was scared of and no one else wanted to fight.
Yeah.
So I think everybody's job in boxing is very important. Obviously, the fighter is the most important, but it's a close second for the rest of the spots. And it becomes very important.
To talk about him. 2 questions. I want to talk about McGregor. What do you think about that? But first question is, has he ever sparred Daniele? I've never seen him. Did you ever spar Daniele?
No, I'm not familiar with Daniele.
Yeah, Daniele and him have just missed each other the couple times he's been here. Now we're going to try to get on a regular schedule, and they're both actually about the same size. So it will be, and I personally, my personal opinion, the biggest advantage, a lot of UFC fighters, a lot of MMA fighters come from small little necks of the woods where they don't have access to high-level pro boxing.
Yeah.
That being said, and it's amazing they get as far as they do. That being said, I think one of the things you can do, one of the real secrets to MMA success is to wrestle against a real wrestler that's not trying to be an MMA fighter. Box against a boxer who's not trying to be, who's just a boxer and so good at boxing. They will elevate your game. Just trying to not drown.
Yeah.
Will take you to the next level. Just survive. You get in there. You take a stand-up fighter and you let him get the crap kicked out of him in a wrestling room repeatedly with real wrestlers just wrestling.
Yeah.
Man, when he's throwing a jab and going to the body and someone tries to take him down, man, his defense will be maybe not good enough, but it'll be better than it's ever been. It will give him the best opportunities for success.
I agree. 100%.
And I think that's the one thing that's what draws people to Miami, because we have your home camp, Sanford MMA.
Yeah, Sanford MMA.
We have the MMA, ATT, MMA Masters. There's some gyms here that have a lot of MMA fighters, and they have access to us.
Yeah.
And it really gives them an opportunity to be really, really successful. And then you're fighting a guy that maybe is from Brazil, and he's just a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. I wish I was, don't get me wrong. Yeah. But that being said, and now you've been sparring with pro top 10 guys your weight in boxing, and he tries to throw a punch, you see it coming from a mile away.
Night and day.
Yeah. So you are a UFC fighter, signed contract. Your last fight was when?
Yeah, of course.
What?
Of course.
Your last fight was when?
Oh, it was when.
Yeah, of course you won.
It was a win. Yeah.
Yes.
My last fight was I think it was like 7 or 8 weeks ago.
And who did you beat?
Cal Dawkins.
And how did you beat him?
Beat him. Was it a unanimous decision? I think he was 10-1 at the time, so he had a good record. He was a favorite. I don't know who the matchmakers. Yeah, who did that? You know, I came in thinking I was a favorite, but yeah, I beat him. So it was good, unanimous. Shut it down.
Nice. And your next fight is?
My next fight should be October. Duran Win, another tough guy, tough wrestler. Gonna win. Get closer to the title. That's the goal. That's the dream.
Now you started as a wrestler.
Yeah.
What was your wrestling background?
I'm originally from Jersey, so from Jersey I went to state, stuff like that, did okay. Then I went to Iowa Central, Community College in Iowa, won a national title there. Then that got me a scholarship to Iowa State.
Wow.
Then I went to Iowa State. Then I started picking up MMA as I was going to Iowa State. And then from there, just progressed. Didn't want to get a real job, started fighting. No, I'm just kidding. I just fell in love with the sport of combat sports, you know. There's so much to learn, boxing, kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, and I like learning, so I just gravitated towards it.
So I were discussing earlier, I'm a beginner in jiu-jitsu, and I'm very fascinated, very into it now.
Yeah.
And as my own hobby, as my own personal thing. And you're a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, which is a very long process. It's a great start to have a wrestling background. And how is your jiu-jitsu coming? What do you feel about it? How is it part of your game?
Yeah, jiu-jitsu's pretty similar to wrestling, so it was an easy transition. I'm a big fan of jiu-jitsu. There's so many tools, and it's like human chess, because he does this, you do this, you try to counter this. So man, it's really a thinking man's sport, similar to boxing and things like that. So jiu-jitsu is amazing, and I love it, and it's a big part of my game. I got a couple submission wins too. So
you feel the thinking man's game in jiu-jitsu transferring over to MMA when you fight? Don't you have less time to really make that chess move when you're fighting than when you're doing jiu-jitsu? Would you find that to be the case?
Yes and no. I feel like it starts slowing down the more, like how boxers always talk about the experience and making that walk and having the ring time. Once you get in there, it starts slowing down, and the moves start becoming a little more predictable because you've been training them at high levels with high level guys, you know? So it's slowing down. You can start seeing the pieces and the puzzles and like how to manipulate this guy the way you want him to move.
And that's what a lot of people say about Floyd. He gets in there and he figures out like a chess game what he's doing.
Yeah.
So there is part of that. Really, when you do the MMA, when you're fighting in the UFC, you still feel that you do have time to make those chess moves.
Yes. And, that all depends on you and your personality, how you go in the game, how you go in the ring, how you've been coached the whole time, you know? Are you so tense and you just want to win and knock this guy out, or you tunneled in to the process?
You still get those nerves when you go in there at the beginning?
I mean, no, yeah, of course. I think everyone does. If they say they aren't, I mean, they're crazy, you know? You're going to fight a guy or a woman in front of thousands or hundreds of people.
You fight women?
You could. It's 2021.
Equality.
Yeah.
How long does it take you to get the nerves to go away once you get in there?
No, they don't go away, and I'm glad they don't.
Have it the whole time.
No, yeah. Oh, you mean like once I get going?
When you get in there.
Yes.
30 seconds, minute, couple minutes maybe.
Once I enter the cage, once I enter the octagon, I'm a god. Like there's no nerves. I'm just ready to go, revved up. You know, it feels like I'm at practice. So. Because I treat practice that way. I treat practice like it's the match, it's the fight, it's the big Friday night fight, Saturday night fight, you know, it's pay-per-view, so.
Mentally, you mean when you go in there, you're mentally preparing yourself.
I see the crowd, I see the fans, I see my coach and screaming, my girlfriend, whatever, you know. I see it all there, so it's just all visualization, so.
And then as far as him, how long have you guys been working together? Just started a little while ago, or?
We've been off and on because he's a busy guy.
Really, our full first private session was today.
Yeah.
And it's hard to get in sync. It's a difficult thing to get in sync with a fighter right away. And this went actually pretty smooth. I was kind of shocked.
I agree.
Yeah, it was pretty easy.
Yeah, normally like the timing's off. He says jab, and you're like, now, and then but we synced up pretty fast.
So it looks like it could work well. And to take a guy, you know, it's a lot of times I've had guys that are already there and already making money, and then come and hire me on the side for a little extra work or to tighten their boxing, blah blah. To be with him now before he's in the top 10 is very exciting for me. So that then it's to be part of the team to get there to the top 10 and get to the title. It's a lot more rewarding, and it also shows more of an impact than taking a guy who's a world champion and tightening him up for one fight. Like Alistair Overeem, he came in, he had me come in just for one fight. He wound up winning by knockout with exactly what we did, what we worked on.
Yeah.
So that was obviously very rewarding, but at the same token, it's not the same as being there for the growth.
Yeah,
and
the climb up the mountain.
Yeah, the climb up the mountain. And really,
to jump in, like I don't know if you knew this, he's got a background in martial arts since he's 5 years old, so he can kick, he can punch.
Yeah.
He's been into jiu-jitsu, even though he's not at a high level, he's been doing jiu-jitsu for how many years? You could definitely help him since you're like up here with boxing. A lot of people don't realize you didn't start with boxing, you did like the martial arts. So back in Chicago where we were, they used to look at him, oh, he's really not a boxing guy, he's a martial arts guy. Well, now down here, it's the other way around. It's like, oh, this guy's a boxing guy. Doesn't know. Even though his background since 5 years old, do you feel you can help him, and do you think he can help you with that background along with the boxing now?
Yeah, come on, man. Of course, I always approach the game.
And I don't know if you knew that or not.
No, I didn't know. We were talking a little bit about it, but
5 years old he started. So
that's wild. Yeah, he
can kick that 6'5" guy's always telling us to hit the subscribe button. You can kick him in the head, no problem.
All right.
I'm not kidding.
I believe it.
That's funny. But if when it turns out that one of my fighters has a kicking opponent, it really comes into play. Because then I can hold pads and kick at you as much as usually the kickers can.
Yeah.
I mean, any of the kicks that they can do in the UFC, even at 50 years old, I can still do it.
Yeah.
So when that opportunity arises and we need that puzzle to fit in, then we'll be able to put that together.
Okay.
Who is your favorite? I know you're a fan of combat sports.
Yeah.
So who do you think is your favorite? Not my favorite, not the unanimous. Who is your favorite boxer?
My favorite boxer, it has my favorite fighter is me, of course, but my favorite boxer has to be Cinnamon. Has to be Canelo Alvarez. I love him, man. Head movement, his body shots. Of all time,
your favorite of his,
of all time, Muhammad Ali, of course, of all time. I think he's a pioneer of the sport. I know Fifth Street because of him. I'm a huge fan. Watch all the documentaries, him running across the bridge and things like that. I'm a huge fan. I just love his bravado, how he changed the sport, and what he did for the African American community. And I can't say enough about him. Yeah. But right now, today's day,
in
my lifetime, it has to be Saul Canelo Alvarez. Wow. And also Floyd Mayweather because his work ethic. I love people who work hard and are disciplined and doesn't do outside like drinking, smoking, doesn't party and things like that. That's how I live my life. The day I heard he didn't drink or smoke or did any of that, I was like, all right, I'm done. Because he's the best in the world. And I think you just follow the same recipe.
If they fight today, who wins? Canelo or Floyd? Let's say maybe 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
When he was still at the end of Floyd, when Canelo was really getting strong.
Yeah.
Who do you think wins if they fight in the last?
Like a rematch, or they never fought before?
Rematch.
A rematch.
Both. Yeah.
I think if they never fought before, I think Floyd Mayweather still might get it. But if it was a rematch, I feel like Canelo might have made the right adjustments, on the rematch. But it's hard to say, man. That guy's. They're both amazing, but I love Canelo. I love his head movement. I love his body punches. I love his feints. And like he said, the chemistry with his trainer. That's been his long-time trainer forever, and he's just having that chemistry with a trainer. That's beautiful.
Before I forget, obviously you were gone. The ankle last week in the UFC with
McGregor.
Yeah, give the thoughts.
Yeah,
if it goes on, they fight again.
Man,
what do you think?
I had McGregor picked on that one.
I did too.
I think his hands are so good, his timing, his speed. He can slip and rip. And I think in the first fight, I think McGregor finished it. The second fight, I think he was piecing him up, and then Poirier started kicking the leg, and then eventually got him up.
You guys believe in the second fight he was really preparing for Manny Pacquiao, and that's why he had a different, like they basically said. You think that was just blabber?
I don't believe anything anyone says when they put behind a microphone. I think they say everyone says what.
But they believe us. We have microphones on.
Yeah. So, I mean, but I don't. I'm very cynical. I've been around this, since I'm a little kid, and I'm very cynical. But I don't think. Joe Louis said it's hard to get up and run when you're sleeping on silk sheets.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't think it's ever going to be the same for McGregor. He's not ever going to be the fighter again. I mean, he's probably got $200 million.
Yeah.
Like, what's the point
Yeah.
I really don't get it. I mean, this is prize fighting.
Mm-hmm.
He's got more prize at home than he does in fighting.
Yeah.
So I don't really see the point. I guess he's greedy to a certain extent. He wants more money, more fame. There's always more. But I just don't know if he has it in him to ever train like he did when he beat Dustin the first time.
Yeah.
Dustin is not he might have made a couple $1 million bucks. Maybe
He made a lot. I think he made $10 million or something. He made some money.
So the third one.
This one.
So he paid his manager. He paid the government. He's got $5 million. He's hardly ready to retire.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's if McGregor has the hunger anymore to ever do it again. I think MMA passes you by super fast.
Yeah.
When you stop to do a movie, or you stop to do a boxing match, when you stop, I think the sport just keeps evolving.
Yeah.
They come up with new jiu-jitsu moves constantly. I think your bones, I think his legs, if you're not doing in there getting leg kicked, your bones get soft.
Yeah.
And then when you get leg kicked by one of the best now in the world, he's a top 2 or 3 fighter in the world, your leg might break.
Yeah.
It's not what it was. It's not the same. So that being said, I think that I think enough is enough for McGregor.
Yeah.
No, but I'm saying is for you. What do you think?
About what?
Like with the do you think if it goes on, he wins? Do you think there's going to be a 4?
Nah, they have to make a 4. I think Dana White's already talking about making a 4. I think Conor McGregor wants a 4. I can see Dustin Poirier why not wanting a 4. I think the fans would. I'll pay. Right? I'll pay for the 4.
Yeah, for that
maybe
fight,
maybe stream it. But for the 4th fight, man, I feel like he might have. McGregor, I'm a fan of McGregor. He's a fan of McGregor. He changed the sport. He changed MMA.
100%.
And I think he's the one who really started introducing high-level boxing into MMA. Before, I think McGregor, we weren't focused. Like he said, the game changes so fast. And when McGregor hit the scene, he was knocking people out with lefts and rights, and
big shots.
Exactly. And that's those highlight reel knockouts got people excited to see MMA. Who's this guy knocking people out? And once us other MMA fighters see them, it's like, okay, we need to go to boxing. We need to go to boxing gyms. We need to figure this thing out, And like he said, the sport grows so fast,
Dana White, you just mentioned him. What's he like? Do you deal with him a lot? Do you like him? Indifferent? Obviously, you're not going to say you don't like him.
Yeah, he's my boss. He's going to get me fired on my day off. He's my boss. He's a good guy. Love him to death. No, we meet in like passing. We're not best of friends, but he knows my name. He's done a couple highlight things. I'm like, oh, Phil's a great guy. There's a lot of hype, a lot of promo things for me. So yeah, he knows who I am.
Just from being here, you're very likable. You speak well. You know what you're doing. There's no reason for somebody not to like you.
Thank you. Unless we're fighting, you might not like me.
He's not going to watch this, but he's got great personality.
He might. Well, I'll send it to him.
When we go back on this, you're going to see that this is one of the sharpest fighters we've had in the interview. After we're at 13, one day we'll be at 113 and 1,013. When we look back on this, you're going to see that you can see how well thought he is about fighting.
Yeah, I could see it. Look, I think David have to be a champion before he was 15-1. We didn't get another champion. There's a couple guys that I can see from the personality. I haven't seen you really in the ring or do anything.
Yeah.
But from the personality, the way you speak, you're definitely on your way. I can just sense it. I hung around Ali, so I know the personality of a fighter. I'm not hearing you yet, not yet. But just your mannerisms, the way you are, the way you think, the way you've been talking in the last 10, 15 minutes. I think you're on your way on it.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate that.
So, who is your favorite MMA fighter?
That's me. But all time. All time, there's so many great fighters, and we got to go back to the Hicks and Gracie days, and man.
Theodore days.
Yeah, exactly. There's so many because they're all different eras. How the game changes so fast.
You had to pick because you do.
Yeah. If I had to pick, because I do, I think Anderson Silva. Anderson Silva or John Jones. John Jones. Yeah.
He's still fighting though.
Yeah, he's still fighting. Yeah, but his legacy is pretty cemented. I mean,
stud.
Yeah, he's still the youngest world champion ever in the history of the sport. And he's still competing. He's got the most title defenses in the sport. And he's still a long shot. I think closest is Amanda Nunes with 7, and he's got 15 or something.
Yeah. I mean, that's a legit all-time.
Anderson Silva's going to be fighting. Is he going to fight Jake Paul or?
No, boxing. He's fighting.
I know he beat Julio Cesar Chavez. You know that.
Who's no walk in the park? No. That guy is legit.
Julio Cesar Chavez came here the guy came to work out again on vacation. People come to Miami Beach and I want to come and work out one time in the world famous fitness gym, and I welcome them with open arms. And man, he was hitting the bag with body shots like no one I've ever seen before.
Jeez.
This guy was no joke, and he's a big guy with a giant head. The biggest problem they had with him is that he should have been a super middleweight or a light heavyweight, and they wanted to make him the middleweight champion, and they sucked him down so much, and everybody knew better than the fighter, and that's not always true. Sometimes your coaches and your management know better, and sometimes you got to listen to the fighter and the fighter's body. And he told me, barely speak English. He told me, they made me bear heavy accent. He's like, they made me go down, and the diets were always too hard on me. He barely knew me. He knew me for one day, and he was opening up. I felt like I wanted to hug the guy. And man, that guy is no joke. For Anderson Silva to beat him, I don't care if you found him off the couch. That guy knows boxing. He's been boxing, been around boxing since he's born. He's a big, strong guy. He's a tough guy. And for Anderson Silva to beat him is no walk in the park.
And now Anderson Silva has a fight against, I'm forgetting the guy's name.
They're talking about him and Jake Paul or Logan Paul, or I mean, I don't know how serious that is, but that's why I popped on when you said his name. But he's going to be boxing again. I think he's done with MMA. But who's he supposed to be fighting? I know they were talking about Jake Paul, Logan Paul, which
and those are the money fights that they sell tickets. And prize fighting has always been prize fighting. For the first certain amount of, I don't know exactly when, but there was a certain time when they wouldn't even let African Americans fight in boxing. So it's always been the sport's always been on the bullshit. Let's not kid ourselves. And they're always going to pull some funny business to try to get to sell tickets. That's what they're trying to do, is sell tickets. If you can sell tickets, too bad for you if you're 10-0 and you can't sell any tickets. I don't have to tell you. This guy's 1-0, 2-0, and he's fighting wrestlers. So what do you understand what you want from the guys?
Now, what do you think about Vitor Belfort and how am I forgetting this guy's name?
Not Chick. Vitor Belfort.
He's boxing?
Yeah, Golden Boy promoter.
Yeah, he's supposed to fight Oscar De La Hoya.
Oscar De La Hoya,
yeah.
I don't know who has less business being in the ring. I think both of them aren't afraid to go out and have a good time at night. I think both of them have had chemicals that they would fail all kind of tests. They're both too old, and Oscar's really too old.
Well, how old is he?
48.
48, yeah.
How old was Bernard Hopkins?
52.
Yeah.
Come on, bro. I don't know.
Yeah.
Bernard Hopkins
but Oscar, not only that, he's never partied. He wakes up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Parties.
Never. 4 o'clock in the morning he runs.
We trained him for a fight, the Chad Dawson fight.
He actually was sparring with him. It was hysterical.
Did he?
Well,
it was the craziest thing. I'm holding mitts for him. And he said, you got to try to really hit me back because they're going to try to
hit you.
So I tried to hit him, so then he hit me back. I said, hey,
bro.
Hold on. He goes, you should get a mouth guard. I said, mouth guard for what? I said, because I want to be accurate and I'm going to touch you. I said, then he goes, you should get gloves. I said, gloves? I said, that makes me your sparring partner. You're not paying me to be a sparring partner. But he's a great guy. I learned more from him than he did from me. What I did for him, provide him an environment. He lives in Miami. I provided an environment for him, a positive environment. He loves people. Bernard Hopkins loves people, and he loved the Ali atmosphere where everyone was here, and he would sit and talk to people. Just very similar, Ali, very similar and engaging, and wanted to really be involved with people, have them watch him. He'd perform. We'd hit pads, and no one would be around. He'd be bored. We'd hit pads and it'd be a full class full of people. He would be on. And again, he taught me 6 ways to throw a jab. So I learned more from him than he did from me. But at 10 o'clock at night, we'd be out. I think we were out for my birthday. For something, we were at dinner. 10 o'clock at night, he got up and left. I go, where are you going? He goes, it's 10 o'clock. I gotta be up at 6 o'clock to run.
My man.
I think earlier than that. I think it's up like 4 or 5.
He does not miss.
My man.
He does not miss. He doesn't care what is going on.
His
career, his winning, his fighting is first.
His health.
He knows everything else is second. And
that's beautiful.
He's pleased and thank you and so thanks for having me at your party. Blah blah blah. But I gotta go. And he was great. We really had a good time with him. I had a kid here once. I always ask. I'm always interested in everybody's favorite fighter. So even before the podcast, I asked some little kid I was training. His mom came and bought him a $200 private lesson, and that's a lot for a kid. Even if your parents are buying it for you. So I said to him, who's your favorite fighter? And he said Bernard Hopkins. And as took a shot, I put him on FaceTime. Bernard answers the phone, because he's such a nice guy. He's answering for me, right?
Of course, yeah.
I put him on with the kid. He spends 20 minutes with the kid.
Dang.
20 minutes with the kid talking to him. The kid the mom's like, I would have spent double. My son's so happy. Dude. And so Bernard's a really good guy and great. My favorite Ali story is the story about the short version is a guy calls him up and says, can you talk to my son? He's in the hospital with cancer. Ali says, no. He says, no. He tells everyone in camp, get dressed, and they drive like 2 hours to the hospital to visit the kid. Ali shows up, he's like, what are you doing here? He's like, you told me your son's dying of cancer. I'm not going to talk to him on the phone. He sits down with the kid. He said, listen, kid, I'm going to beat George Foreman and you're going to beat cancer.
I remember this.
Yeah, the kid says yes. Yeah, that's right. I'm going to do it. Yeah. The guy calls him back 2 weeks later, says, my son's really bad. You got to talk to me. So I'm not, he shows up again. Yeah. He said, what happened? I told you, I'm beating George Foreman and you're going to beat cancer. He said, no, champ. You're going to beat George Foreman. And I'm going to tell God I know Muhammad Ali.
Yes, I remember that.
I get goosebumps every I mean, and that's why they call him the greatest. Not for his jab cross.
And a lot of people don't know. He went to meet Sugar Ray Robinson to get an autograph from him. And Sugar Ray Robinson, when he was young, didn't do it. And it hurt him so much that he said that from now on, if I ever make it big, every single person, like he would sit in the room, he would talk to everyone, he would do everything. So he doesn't ever make anyone feel like when he was a kid. That's why he was always like signing autographs, staying the whole time.
When we had the grand opening of the gym, he stayed. He was very old at that point. He was very sick. His handlers wanted him out of there. Yeah. The gym is small. It was packed with 300 people.
Jeez.
Hot on a
like
September night in August. And he stayed.
Hold on, a September night in August.
A September night in Miami. Sorry, September night in Miami. And he stayed, and he signed the little bit that he could sign. He took as many pictures. He stayed with everybody, and he went out the back door because they made him. And everybody's waiting at the back door, and he stayed out there and continued. He could barely stand for the time that they wanted him to. Yeah. Jeez. And he just stayed there. And every time I asked him why do you do it, he said, I'm just trying to get to heaven. Yeah. He's like, man, he's the greatest. I mean, it's no joke. That's beautiful. He does it consistently. He's the greatest every time you give him the opportunity. It's remarkable.
And that's what you're going to be like too.
Yeah, I can only hope to be.
You will be, man. I'm telling you, you're going to be champ.
Champ.
Your trajectory now,
is done.
Where do we go?
Where do we go?
Give us an idea of what it takes to get to the championship. A fight by fight, like who do you fight? How many do you need?
Just like Dino said, it's who you put butts in the seats. How exciting are these fights? I can win 10 more fights and not be as exciting, and then it take longer. Or I can win 3 fights, working with Dino, get some sick knockouts, and 3 fights in, I'm fighting for the world title. So it all depends.
Where do you make that decision to be exciting or to win? Because a loss, to be exciting to get a loss can set you back versus like win now and look good in your next fight. How do you make that decision?
It depends on the opponent, but honestly, I think the work's done in the gym, and I think that's when I started making the leaps and bounds, is when I just worried about getting better that day and not worrying about doing wins or losses. I just worry about my performance and doing well and doing the things that me and Dino worked on, me and my coaches worked on, so I like to go for it. I like the pressure. I like to knock people out. I got knockouts on my records, and that's what I do. Just look for the finish. So that's my thing.
I've heard Dana White say, "You want to come back, win or lose, be exciting. I'd rather have you lose exciting than win boring." I heard him say that to my face. Yeah. We had a wrestler that was our fighter that was kind of boring, and he was not interested in having me take him down and hold him. Yeah. He told us flat out, I'd rather have you lose exciting than win boring. So Dana White knows what fans want. Yeah. You give them what they want. I've seen these knockouts. They're amazing. We're going to get you with some high-level boxers. Yeah. Your timing is be impeccable. And you let your hands do the talking. Before I think the title's going to come a lot faster than maybe the paper would say. Yeah.
Playing devil's advocate, if you do lose, though, this is a sport where you can get hurt. So when you get, it's different. You can get choked out. You can tap out. You're not going to, you're back to fight. You're getting hit in the head with those 4-ounce gloves. It takes effect. We see what happened to Chuck Liddell. We see what happens to guys that we know that we've trained before. It's a little bit different. So you can try to be exciting, but you get caught, that's going to shorten your career versus, so that's what I was trying to get at. You can still be exciting, but where do you make that decision of being exciting and shortening your career instead of just winning and taking those chances a little bit later?
And it's also different. The pay structure is different. In boxing, you guys get flat. In MMA, we get show and win.
Yeah, right.
So I may be
plus fight of the night, knockout, all that other stuff.
But
gives bonuses.
If I lose that fight, I only get one check. You know what I mean? Only half my purse as opposed to boxing. You guys get So you got to play that balancing act.
You got to win. That's the reality of the situation. He's a winner. He knows how to do it. I don't think that win and loss can be an issue. I think athletes, fighters in particular, and that's what people love about fighting the most. It is all, especially the world that we live in, the pandemic, where everyone's home behind a computer. They can't even have a real face-to-face meeting. Yeah. They get to live vicariously through a fighter that is living not in the moment, in the fraction of a second, the fraction of a second decision. He's making real decisions with real consequences. I think that naturally, with proper training and proper rest and proper nutrition, will give you the position, put you in a position to be successful and be exciting. You in particular. Yeah. I think Chuck Liddell spent a lot of times in nightclubs in Vegas too. So you can't blame it all on, don't blame it all on fighting.
Sure.
So that being said, the clean lifestyle, the training, I mean, I think all those things, and that is what's going to put people sitting on the edge of their seat knowing that his next punch might be explosive. Yeah. And that's what they're waiting for. You don't expect every fight to win by knockout, obviously.
Right.
As a fan, you don't expect it either. But the fact that it might happen, you are on the edge of your seat, and that's what's going to make you, bang, $59.95, Phillips fighting. I don't want to miss what might happen. Yeah. And I think that's what's going to give you the success, the title shot, and the money. Yeah.
What's your favorite part of fighting and your least favorite part of fighting? The two. Best, worst.
The favorite part of fighting is
what do you love about it? What do you I'd rather not have that.
Yeah, I love the learning. I love the learning of it. Coming here, experiencing, meeting you, and just like the friendships and the bonds you make, and just the lifestyle, and have the goal. A lot of people don't have the goal, of climbing that mountain. And with fighting, I get that. I have an objective to get to, and I get to see myself climb that mountain each day, trying to get a little better. One thing, if I had to pick, I don't like, man, it's hard to say. I'm just so blessed to be the life of being a fighter. There's nothing I really don't like about it. Even the weight cuts, it
doesn't bother you.
I enjoy it. It's part of the game.
One of my favorite things about fighting and coaching is the weight cut. Yeah. To be there with a fighter. As the head coach, sometimes I'm not responsible for it. As the striking coach, sometimes I'm not responsible for it. But if I have that bond with a fighter, or maybe don't have that bond with the fighter, the weight cut, to be there with them in the weight cut is where I find myself the opportunity to really connect the most with the fighter, actually, because they are suffering, and nobody likes to suffer alone. Yeah, yeah. And if I can make it a little more, tolerable, enjoyable, if I can crack a few jokes, if I can keep the fighter company, if that makes it a little more bearable for them, because a lot of times that's the worst part of it. If I can do that, I'm so happy to be honored to do that, flattered to do that, to go through with them. I don't mind being in the sauna, to be honest with you. I don't mind. I sit there with them in the bathtub. I've done it, and I've also done it with supermodels, and that ain't so bad. But nevertheless, that's a time that is really unique.
Let me clarify. You don't sit in the bathtub with them. You sit on the side.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's just make
sometimes it's a jacuzzi, and then we can all get in.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. So, you're not in the bathtub.
Exactly. Yeah. Vitor Belfort was cutting weight, so mad about cutting weight. Had a scale. He was doing part of the cut in one of the hotels, big hotels in Vegas, and we were in the very nice, beautiful spa, and he got out of the sauna or got out of the hot tub and got on the scale. And I said to him, is the scale accurate? That's all I said. Yeah. At the time, this is 20 years ago, he spoke zero English. Yeah. And he got in my face, stark naked, jacked and horrifying. And he's like, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, hey, you guys want to translate? And they're like, what? Like all the Brazilian guys, super attitude, super mean. Of course. And trust me, Vitor beat me to death. And I said, tomorrow's newspapers will say Vitor beat up some guy's poor coach, or some poor coach beat up Vitor Belfort. And they translate, they're like, this guy's crazy, and then they laugh. But everyone's on edge. It's not fun. It's not.
No.
You try to make it. You try to take the edge off. If I can do that for a fighter, I'm super glad to do.
Yeah, 100%.
But thank God he didn't beat me up.
Yeah. One thing I do want to talk about that I totally forgot about. Did you see the Charlo fight? Because he caught a lot of slack.
I did.
At 117, 111.
It was a lot closer to 117, 111, that's for sure. That guy put in some good rounds, definitely won some rounds. You can win 12 rounds close and win, and then it could be 122 to 110. You could win 12 rounds or whatever, 12 times 12 times 10 is.
120.
So 120. You could win 120 to 110 and win every single round by 1 point. It'd be a close round. And then everyone complained that the judging's not right. Judging's a terrible job. It's a rough job. What makes it bad is when you see two judges one way and one judge the other way. But if you, sometimes that vantage point that you had made it look more dominating. I wouldn't want to be a judge. Out of all the boxing jobs, all the MMA jobs, I think the referee is the second worst.
It was in Texas, though, so...
Yeah, exactly. In Texas, I understand, but he won the fight, though.
You think he did?
I don't think he lost.
Because generally...
I just saw it again last night, actually.
Yeah.
I think he won.
Generally speaking, the fans get it right, for the most part. And a lot of fans did have, and I even commented it's going to be very uneventful, yada, yada, yada. And I was wrong. It was,
It was pretty eventful.
Did you see the fight?
Yeah, I saw like little bits and pieces of it, yeah.
Well, it was a fun fight. The guy came to fight.
Oh, yeah.
But I think he still won 7 rounds.
He did.
So 7's enough.
Yeah. And speaking of Charlo, Canelo versus one of the Charlos, what do you think? You're a big Canelo fan. He thinks that, I think Canelo still wins. I mean,
I feel like Canelo's untouchable. Like,
well, he won't get stopped by anyone, which means he'll get the decision. So he will win. Yeah. Whether he actually beats him is a whole different story.
Who hasn't he beat?
Oh, I agree, but I'm saying people are saying he'll get the decision.
If he's the super middleweight champion and the middleweight champion and the junior middleweight champion, why was the Charlo never mentioned? Why doesn't anyone want to fight him? Granted, I don't want him in a press conference. I'm not excited. I'm a big fan of their boxing. Yeah. I'm not breaking their neck to call Ronnie Shields to get him in here for an interview. Yeah. I don't think they'll be very nice. They sure don't seem like it. Yeah. Now maybe it's an act. Yeah, maybe I don't know. Who knows? Maybe they bring their mother flowers every Sunday. I don't know. But what I do know is they can fight. And I'll tell you,
Well, how do you see him? What are their keys to beating Canelo?
Distance, reach,
range,
jab, range. Yeah.
Like Canelo's last opponent, or?
Yeah, but they're just a lot better.
Oh,
I mean, I agree.
Okay.
They're better than all those guys that he's fought.
Who's the guy from London or?
Yeah. Canelo walked right through him.
Walked him down.
Like a hot knife through butter.
Yes.
I agree.
And he was like, what, 6'2", 6'1", something crazy?
I agree.
How tall is Charlo?
And same, either 6'1", something like that, right?
Okay.
I agree. I personally, this is going to sound...
Yeah.
I cheer for the American fighter, even when I don't like them. Okay. Because they're still my jerk.
Yeah. Okay.
I always cheer when I watch the UFC. There's Brazilian guys that I've met and know. Yeah. And unless they're my fighters, I want to see the Americans win everything.
Okay, I give you that. Okay,
so even before I knew you, I'm cheering for you.
The other day.
What's that?
Controversial. Even the soccer game when they kneel for the national anthem, you still want to see them win?
I still want to see them win. There still are jerks. I don't like kneeling for the national anthem. Being patriot is super important to me. I think America gives the opportunities, the best opportunities. I think America is not perfect, and it's still better than every place else. I just was all over Europe, and trust me, it's a lot better in America. And that being said, I cheer for the American fighter. I would love to see Canelo Charlo just to see what happens as a fight fan, as a professional.
And they should make those fights.
And that's where boxing always will fall short. Yeah. And that's why Dana White is the greatest thing in combat sports.
Absolutely.
Because he makes the big fights with the best fighters.
And their prime.
Remember when it first started with UFC, they used to shit talk him. They used to say this about him, that about him. He's this, he's that. But he did it right, man. Yeah. They used to try to compete. Oh, boxing's it's not a real sport, MMA. UFC's not real. Yeah. Now, they're starting to figure out it is real.
I wish there'd be the ultimate boxing championship. Whoever's recording this, remember I said that first.
Ultimate boxing championship.
Dana White's the professional. Dana White's the president. I don't know what his contracts are. I don't know what his obligations are. He may have so much money, he doesn't need that headache in his life. No. That being said, I wish he was a president of a sanctioning body did exactly what he does now. I think it'd be the greatest thing ever happened in boxing.
And it's just putting the best of the best in the primes that you're saying.
And if they don't want to fight, if they don't want to agree to it, go fight someplace else. Go ahead. Gotcha. And then when you come back when you're old and washed up, too bad.
Yeah.
And you're gonna miss your opportunity.
Yeah.
I just think I think the Gracies. I think him. I think there's a couple people that have done things for sports. I mean, for the fact of the matter is, essentially, you've hired me to be your coach. I've gotten a job because the UFC has become the UFC because you become the fighter. Yeah. I'm not just training boxers. I have a lot more clients, essentially. he's actually put food on my table. So
Yeah,
I
guess,
think
yeah.
his reach has gone a lot further than people give the guy credit for because he's got a smart mouth. So
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
He doesn't smile all the time. No big deal.
Yeah.
Neither do I. You do, but I don't.
Yeah.
I asked Phil, you see a smile. I asked Phil, I go, use your teeth. And what did you say?
I pay for him.
That's right. Me and him both.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, don't forget, Phil, what is your Instagram?
Philip Hawes. I keep it simple. Philip Hawes, PhillipHawes.
There you go. So follow him on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram, Dino Fifth Street Gym. Follow Tom, is in charge of the world famous Fifth Street Gym at Fifth Street Gym. We have the Fifth Street Gym YouTube page where you'll see this Instagram. And you have a sponsor that helps you with this rough career?
New Life been sponsored. They make a product called Myelin 6. It's great. It has turmeric, anti-inflammatory supplements. So it's good. I'll let you try some.
Okay,
it's
great.
really good stuff.
New Life. Awesome. So there you go.
I'm going to make a prediction. I don't know if I'm going to be right or not, but judging from his personality, the way he is, I guarantee you he'll get a title shot. I don't know enough about him, and I haven't followed whether he's going to win.
Yeah.
But I will, as I go on, his personality alone has the personality of a champion. I don't know if he forgets his shit like some of these people here do. They forget their shoes, they forget their gloves, they forget everything in the gym. That's a bad sign if you want to be a champion. I don't know if he does that, but little things like that and his personality make me think that he's going to go places. And I'm saying that right now, and I want you to remember it.
I'll take
Because
that.
every time I tell David that, he says, "Yep, you sure did."
My man. I'm taking that to the bank. I'm taking that to the bank.
Taking it back with the money you make at the UFC.
There you go.
So there you go. So please follow us. We will see. We're going to drop this. Will be coming out Wednesday. So everyone be Wednesday. You'll see it on Phil's Instagram. You'll see it on our Instagram. And please stop by the gym. Come train with us. It's a great opportunity. It's a next level when you're hitting the heavy bag and someone like Phil is hitting the heavy bag next to you. Even if you're a housewife, even if you're training for a white collar fight, if you're training for the Golden Gloves, if you're here on vacation, the type of motivation you're going to feel when someone at this level is next to you on the bag next to you, you're going to go at your regular life like a champion. And it's going to change. It's really going to change everything about you.
Quick 30-second story before I know we're running late. I'll always remember that when Dino and I, probably 15, 16 years ago, we were training at Wildcard. Manny had yet blown up. They were getting ready to fight Oscar or something. But Manny used to come in and train. Him and I would train. We'd be doing sit-ups next to him. We'd be hitting the bag next to him. And I'll remember that story for the rest of my life. That I used to do sit-ups and hit the bag next to Manny Pacquiao.
Yeah,
so that's what he's trying to say.
That's crazy.
Absolutely. Change your life. So the Fifth Street Gym is open to everybody, just like it was when Muhammad was here. And Phil, it was great to have you here.
Thank you for having
Thank you,
me,
bro.
guys. Thank
awesome.
you.
So nice meeting you.